Welcome back for my final morning report analysis video on Wednesday the 14th of June with me, Rich Perry, market analyst at Atlantic Markets, looking at gold. Gold has, again, look at this, 1261. I've been talking about this for a long while actually. 1261 as a pivot. 1261 intraday got breached, intraday breached, but then only on a closing basis does it really decisively change the direction. Held on intraday levels, breached a couple of times on intraday levels, but only on a closing basis was that in sort of the beginning of May, the beginning of the move and turnaround. Again, throughout late May, breached a couple of times intraday, but only on a closing basis did it start to really gain traction on the upside. So once more, what we see is these sort of bear candles coming back to find support basically around that pivot. Not breached on a closing basis, and the market turns around. So we have basically got this move that's sort of come back to the pivot now. This pivot, I think, is an important level on a medium-term basis to sort of dictate the direction, whether it sort of moves back towards the highs around 1300 again, or sort of comes back and tests the 1240, maybe even the 1216 old pivot as well. It'll sort of move back, and you can see 1216 that acts as a pivot. So yeah, I think generally speaking this is an interesting time for gold, possible crossroads. You've got the Fed tonight, again that could sort of certainly drive direction near to medium term on the dollar, which subsequently would translate through to the gold price. So don't forget the negative correlation between gold and the dollar. So watch out for that. And what we have seen is momentum indicators which are now beginning to settle down a bit. You have got the negative cross on the MACD lines, which I suppose gives you a marginal corrective bias, but you're still sort of holding up around and above all these moving averages. So it's a bit of a mixed outlook on the technicals, but certainly that, I think that pivot at 1261 really does remain the key mover or the key factor in this chart. Now you've also got on the hourly chart a pivot around 1271 being supportive on Thursday, Friday last week, and then subsequently becoming resistance, and that still remains a basis of resistance. So failing to break back above 1271 sort of puts the pressure once more back on 1261. So bear that in mind. But certainly the Fed is likely to drive near-term direction on the gold price and volatility as well. So that's tonight at 7 o'clock. With that in mind, I wish you good luck in your trading today, and I'll speak to you again tomorrow. Thank you.